Welcome back, everyone. So if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I have been using Task Warrior for a long time to manage all my tasks, recurring items, things I wanted to do and get done. And it's been mostly successful. I get a lot done with it. It's been really useful. I've used a lot of different tools with it, and I've written scripts with it. And it's a great tool, and it gets a lot of work done. And you can check out my Task Warrior video in the card up below. So I recently made a switch to Trello again. I started with Trello, I moved to Task Warrior just to have it in a command line application, and I moved back to Trello. Why did I do that? Well, there's a lot of other features and things in Trello that are just a lot easier to do and use than with Task Warrior, or they just have features that Task Warrior does not have. It's great for doing things like software development, but it's also something I've been really familiar with. I really like it, and I can use it on my desktop, I can use it on my phone, I can do everything I want with it, and there's even some cool things like emailing myself tasks that go directly to my boards, and different features like that I'm going to cover today. So without further ado, let us get into it. So what is Trello? Trello is a Kanban board system. It has an unlimited number of lanes, cards, and you can do a variety of things with these cards. Boards have cards, cards have fields, lists, dates, members, assignees, other Trello card references. It can be a very complex or a very simple system depending on what you're trying to do with Trello. So I'm going to create a sample list here. I'm just going to say, I don't know, backlog. And then I'm going to make another one of active, focus, completed. Just like that, I have 4 swim lanes. I'm going to add a card, backlog, complete that one task. So let's say I have a board here, and I want to take this task and I want to put it on one of my other Trello boards. So this board is this entire thing that you're seeing. This is a Trello board, and it's called Demo. And it's a personal board, it's private, and I'm the only one who's currently invited to this. I can invite other people if I wanted to. And what if, say, I wanted to actually move this card, complete that one task, to a completely different board that's on my account. Well, I can click this and I can move it to a different board. I have several different boards actually. It's being funky because of that, but I have other boards. And you can even send it to a specific list, which is one of these columns on this board or any other board. And then you can even say the position if you knew that specifically. Another thing you can do is from one card, you can reference another. So this is the reference. So if I was on the complete that one task card and I go into it, I can actually reference another Trello card and actually have it attached here. So in the activity section, I can add right here, add card. And on this one, I'm going to say card or board to add. I'm going to say this is the reference. And it's not popping up here for some reason. Let's just add a board. So we can add a board or you can add a card. I'm not sure why this one's not popping up, but if you wanted to add a board, you can actually do that. And so now you have an attachment of this entire board. I can click on that. It actually takes you here. So it's not letting me add a card, but you can do this, and there are several other ways. You can also go to the attachments, click attachment, and you can say attach from Trello. And it will also bring up the same item, same menu where it will actually let you bring up cards to add. You could also click the share button and actually a link to this card. So that might actually be an easier way of doing this. So if we go to this is the reference and we want to share it, grab a link to that card, go back to complete this one task, and we're going to add a link to the card. So I'm just going to put it into activity. So we just put this hyperlink, the Trello hyperlink in there, and now it is a reference to this card. This is the reference. So this way we can actually link between cards back and forth and link one to many or many to one and actually have these task dependencies. Like for instance, if you have a checklist and you have each checklist is a card, then you can say, ah, yes, I've resolved that card and now that task is complete. So let's say you're on a development team or you're on a board that you share with other people and you want to make sure cards are grabbed by somebody or that somebody is actually working on them. And you can do this by either manually clicking and assigning a member to a card, in which case it's just me here. Depending on whoever you have on the board, you could actually assign members. There are actually hotkeys and different key bindings in Trello that you can use that make things a lot faster. If you want to see them, you can always just hit the question mark, and it will bring up a list of all of those key bindings. But say I want to just quickly grab a card, like saying, hey, I'm going to take on this task or this issue, and I'm going to attach my profile to it so that you know I grabbed it. If you hover over it, you can see the color change. If you hover and press spacebar, that will assign me to this card. So now members, you can now see that I am on here. One of the cool things about these cards is that they can hold a massive amount of information. You can have labels, checklists, due dates, attachments. You can make a fancy cover. You can add stickers to, I don't know why you would do stickers, but you can add all different kinds of information to this. You can add a plethora of text in the document in the description area. It uses Markdown. And in the activity section, you can basically have conversations about things. It's like if you want to say, hey, did you fix that one thing? And you can submit that, and then somebody else could respond and say, yeah, it's done, move forward. And you can actually have these conversations in the activity section of these cards and then continue to check off items as they get done. It'll say, you know, how many items are completed or the percentage of completion, you know, who's assigned to this card, all different kinds of information. However you want to customize this for your workflow, it can handle it. And that's not even, this is just the vanilla features of Trello. There are also power-ups that have been custom made to allow a lot of other extensibility, and many of them are free. Usually the free version, caveat, the free version of Trello, you can use one power-up per board, but if you pay a little bit of money, you can also do a little bit more and actually add additional power-ups. I personally paid for it just because the one thing that Trello didn't have by default that Task Warrior did is the ability to have recurring tasks, or in this case, recurring cards. There is an add-on or a power-up for that. So that, and then a couple others that I use frequently, is really just, that's everything I need for every type of task list, checklist, project management board, etc. I'm very big on Kanban boards. They are something that I love and really help me get a lot of things done. So one really cool thing that we can do is actually have template cards. I just recently did this for my video development workflow for YouTube, and one of the cool things that I have is something like 20 item checklist for as I'm making videos, and I put my script on the cards, and I can keep track of different swim lanes of what level or what stage of processing my videos are in. And one thing that I could do is I just have like a bunch of checklists. So I could say list 1, and then item 1, item 2, I can't spell, so it's fine, item 3, whatever, and then let's give it a label, and yeah, that's good, due date, sure. So let's just say that this is a card we want to have to be a template. So in this button right here, make template, I can click that. There we go. It is now a template card. You can just hide this. You don't have to have it here. You could just have it in the background if you wanted to. But if you go to any of these swim lanes, and within the time that my channel has existed, this was not a feature when I first started this channel. This would have been an amazing thing to have. But now, when I came back, I noticed that this is a new feature, this templating. So now that I have this template, I can click this little button at the bottom of any of my lists or swim lanes, click that, and create a from template, and then I have a list of all of my templates. So there's that card. I can click this, and I can rename it, my template, create the card, and now I have it. It's now my template. It has that checklist. it has the label, it doesn't have a due date, so the due date didn't carry over, and that's probably because when you make templates, the due date stays what you said at that one time, so that's actually a smart feature. But everything else completely carries over. Labels, members, items, all of these things. It's actually a really amazing feature that you can just make all of these like really complicated checklists of things that like your workflow is codified, and you can just create another item from an existing template. Templating things is the way to go. So let's say again that you're on a shared board. You have multiple people touching different cards, doing different things, and you want to make sure you are kept abreast of all changes and you want to be notified of activity. So one thing that you can do is you can actually watch cards. So if you're a member on the card, by default, you're watching it. You can see that the watch item is ticked here. So you can do that. You can actually just go into the card, click watch, and just watch it without actually being assigned to the card. And that's a very useful thing, because that way, if you make any changes, you are notified of this. I'm not sure if it'll notify me if I'm the one making the change myself. Yeah, no. But if somebody else made a change to that card, you would actually receive notification that, hey, something has happened, it's been updated, something's been changed. And that's a really useful feature. Say there's a very important issue, or I just constantly use software development as my examples. If somebody else is working on a ticket or a card or something, and it's something that directly affects something you're working on, so you're not a part of that task, but you want to know when it changes so that you are no longer blocked, then you can watch that for updates. And when the update comes that the issue's resolved and you can move forward, you're immediately notified, you're ready to go, and you can go. One really cool part about the fact that Trello is a GUI, obviously, it's in the browser, it's a phone app, and is that these graphics, like I could customize this background, I could change this to whatever background I want, but I can also do it to my cards. One really cool thing is that if you add your own custom images to your cards, I could just add this random image here. You can add images to your cards. So if you want something a little bit more graphical, or if you're doing something with design, this is a really cool feature to quickly just visually see things. So for instance, I have a board for my leatherworking business of some like ideas of things I want to make or add to my product catalog, and I just have pictures of them. So like, for instance, I want to make a video about my Mariner wallet creation, but these items are things that I actually want to try my hand at making, and I just want to quickly see like, oh, actually, yeah, I feel like trying that today. I'm going to put that over here, or whatever. So those are some really cool features that you can do. Is you can customize the graphics on your cards, you can customize the graphic on your board, and you can even attach items, pictures, etc. to these cards. The free version only allows 10 megabyte file uploads to the card. So I mean, you can have multiple files, but each file can only be 10 megabytes. It ups to like, I think 250 megabytes for the Trello Gold membership. It's like the most basic upgrade. And that's what I have, 250 megabyte files. So I mean, it's not like you're going to be loading up your entire video files if you have multiple gigabyte video files. That's not what this is for. But like documentation or design assets or other things, this can most likely handle the smaller things. And Trello Gold, I think I'm not sponsored or anything by this. I just really like Trello. I've been using it for years. Trello Gold's like $5 or less a month. It's pretty awesome. There are also hotkeys. I mentioned that before, that you can get to that with the question mark. It'll open up the menu. But some of the most common ones that I use all the time that are really awesome is, first of all, the C character, C. That will actually archive your cards. So you can actually hide cards and archive them and put them away or get them off the board. You could have something like everything once done goes to completed, but if you don't even want it visible, I could just press C and it archives the card. It's not deleted. I could go into my menu here and I can go to more and look at my archived items, and there it is. I could easily put this back by send to board. There we go, it's back. But this way you can quickly just get stuff off of here, and you can even search through your archive. But let's say you have a bunch of cards on your board you don't like to archive, they're all incompleted, but you quickly want to search for things. You can do / just like in Vim, / and I could do, let's just look for test, and it'll find test for me. Now, this will actually pull up other things from different boards that you have, but hey, it found what I was looking for, test on this board. Now, another cool thing is labels. So you have swim lanes, you have custom fields you can add with the custom field power-up, which is probably the one I would recommend if you're going to stick to one power-up and one in a free membership account. But one really cool thing you can do besides just having different stage swim lanes is labels. So these labels on the card, you have these ones by default, but you can always create more. And I have up to 10 on every board usually. And what you can do is, let's say this label is 1, this label is 2, and then this label is 3. And so as they get added here, the colors, like if you go down this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., this is actually the numbers that correspond to this. So the numbers, if I hover over a card, just like spacebar adds me as a member to this card, if I actually did the numbers, 1, 2, 3, this will actually add those labels in order. So if you have a common common labels that you have and you want to quickly just add that to a new card without doing any clicking, you could easily just use the number pad. So I don't have that one yet. So if I did 7, I don't have one, so it'll create a new one. There's the 7th one. There's 5, 6, 7, and so it'll go in order. And the colors matter in this instance. These are actually the numbered colors. So you can have up to 10. So 0 does this like dark navy blue one. So all of those, you can have up to 10 of those just quickly with the number pad. Boom, assign your label, and you can change the text to be whatever you want. However you want to set up your workflow with this, it'll work. And then one really cool thing is if I want to add a new card, I don't have to click new card. I can just press the N character and it'll add another card here. This is also useful if you have a lot of cards in a menu and I say, I just want to add a new card below this card. If I press N, there's a new card directly below the one I was hovering over. So that's a really cool feature too. Another really cool thing that we can do is URL dragging to specific cards. So let's say I have a link here. It's just a link to Google Scholar. So if I want to drag this to my Trello board here, actually, I'm going to select, not the tab, select the URL, and this can be any URL. Select it, click it, drag it to your Trello board, and just drop it on a list. So if you actually have, this wasn't a good example because this one didn't display any sort of pictures, but usually you'll have like this link attachment, you'll have some description, and if there's like, those preview thumbnail links that you get, that will actually add the image to this as well. And so in that way, you can easily just quickly drag things here. I know that like if you're reading articles, the Pocket application feature thing, the app Pocket is really good. I used it for a very long time. It's probably what I would still use. But if you wanted to use Trello to manage all of your articles or things that you wanted to read, that is another very good use of this, is you can quickly just drag these items down, create a new card just by dragging a URL to it. That's a possibility. So one really cool feature is utilizing Trello with spreadsheets. So weirdly enough, I actually do a lot of text editing at work because we all use Excel in Microsoft Office and Windows. But one really cool thing is that because Excel has multiple cells, I'm super familiar with the formulas. If I have a bunch of text editing, this is actually what you'd do before. Now I just use Vim or Vim mode in different editors now for this, but I used to do a lot of text editing in Excel. So if you want to quickly just make a bunch of tasks in Excel, we actually have some carryover to Trello. So I'm going to just open up, I'm going to open up a new spreadsheet. All right, so once you have a spreadsheet open, we have all these cells, and really you just need one column, but it's really just about what you're going to type in here. So let's make a bunch of tasks. I'm going to say task 1, task 2, I can't spell, task 3, task 4, task 5. Cool. So we have all these different tasks here, and say that you're just trying to do, let's say you like Trello after this video and you want to convert whatever system you're using to Trello. This would be a great way of just doing your migration. You can easily just type out all these things in a spreadsheet or spreadsheet program, select all of these cells, you could copy them, and you have 5 cells selected. So if we go back to the board, I can click on Add a Card, and I'm going to do Control V for paste, just paste all 5 of those cells in there. It looks like it's going to be one card, but when I click Add a Card, watch what pops up. So this one actually says, we can create a new card for every new line. You can also create one card with a long title. So in this case, I actually want to create 5 independent cards from those tasks. And there we go. There are all the tasks listed there as their own separate cards. It's a really great way of doing a very quick migration from one system to another. So one really cool thing that I like about Trello is if I have a board and I don't want to use my phone for whatever reason, I don't have my access to my board on another computer. Just as an example, if I'm at work, I'm not going to be spending a lot of time, trying to poke around on Trello because I can't access it at work. I don't want to do it on my phone. I just use my phone to just mess with a quick checklist or just to check on the status of something. But if I wanted to actually make some new tasks quickly and just put something on my board so I don't forget about it later, there's a really cool feature that will let you actually add tasks to a board. So you can see that right now active on here is empty. But you go to Show Menu and you go to More, Email to Board Settings. So in this case, I want to actually make sure that the list I'm adding to is active. The position, I want it to always go to the top and push the next items down. So I can select this whole address. I'm going to go over to NeoMut and I'm going to create a new email and I'm going to email it to that email address. It's really long and weird. Okay. Test card. Subject, and this is the test card description. I can save this email, I can send it off. Basically, the name of the card is the subject line and the description inside the card is the email body. So after that sends, we can watch this board, and here's the new card. Here's the description. So this is a really useful feature I use prolifically. So at work, what I have is Outlook. So I'll just make a quick Outlook quick step where you click a button and it does some actions for you. My action is just create a new email addressed to these email addresses for my various boards so I can quickly just type something into the subject and then shoot off the email and I'm done. I don't have to waste a lot of time. I quickly get something on my board. I don't forget about it. And it's there for me when I can actually have the time to check on it. So personally, what do I use Trello for? I use it for my own personal, like to-do items, things I need to do around the house, or things I want to get done on the weekend, or just general things that are on my back burner that I don't want to forget about, but they're just, in the icebox. So I have like a lane for icebox for things that are just they're on ice for now, but they'll come back later sometime. I have my leatherworking business on here. I have my code research. So if I'm like learning things for code, I actually have different cards for different things I want to learn. And I add to this so that way, like if I see something unfamiliar, I want to make sure I follow up and research that. Like for instance, I wanted to look up what the xargs command did. So I added that as a card. I did some research on it. I resolved it because I learned what xarg does. And that is what I use those boards for. And then I also have one where I actually track my YouTube videos and the creation of them. So for instance, let me drag this over here now. So this board, this is currently the card for this video. This is like my script for the video. I have all these different checklists that I do for my YouTube videos now, and I have it as a template. And these are all the videos, and this is my video board that I use to manage the videos that I create for this channel now. And I'm hoping that by using this system, and basically I'm trying to put more effort into this channel and making better videos, that this will actually help me stay on track, make better content, and do a little bit more research and scripting of my videos before I actually shoot them now. So hopefully this is enough to show you like some of the power that you can do with Trello. This didn't even cover the Trello power-ups. This is just some of the great stuff to get you started, and you don't really need a lot of firepower to get a lot of value out of this. I know it's a GUI-based application, it's in the browser, it's an app you can have on your phone, it's not a command line utility, but that's fine. Some things are better as visuals, and we are visual creatures. So I like a lot of command line utilities. A lot of times they're quick, they're fast, they're simple, they just get the job done. But something like this, I actually prefer Kanban boards, visuals, the ability to just drop a lot of information on a card, have it there when I need it, where I need it, and have all the additional functionality of the email addresses, the assigning, and all the stuff about this. So hopefully this is enough to show you like this is a really cool thing. Maybe you might want to try this out. That's cool. If you want to go through a link that would like help me out, it doesn't do anything other than just give me like an extra month of membership or something to Trello Gold if you use my my link. I'll put a link to it in like the pinned comment or something. You don't have to do it. It's just if you want to. I pay for it anyways. But if you want that, it'll be in the link in the description or the comment below. And before I go, a quick shout out to my patrons. Thank you, Devin and Alberto, for being patrons on Patreon and for supporting the channel. And for everyone else, if you'd also like to support the channel, you could also comment, thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified of new videos. And I'll catch you in the next one.